There is lots of excitement circulating around both countries as the American president is coming to India. In the USA, the Indian community, which is often referred to as the moral minority, has played a significant role in the bilateral ties between the two nations. Nishant, a first-generation Indian American, is an emerging artist living in New York. He has used his artwork to introduce the Indian thought in the modern American society. He is quite upbeat about the American president's upcoming trip to India.
So I'm really excited for Trump's visit to India. I have a lot of American friends that I've been talking to about this, and it's really interesting to see this relationship continue and grow. I'm excited to see these two countries meet, the world's oldest democracy and the world's largest democracy.
In 2005, the US Congress passed a House resolution which praised the stellar work done by Indian Americans in all walks of life. It also urged all Americans to recognize the contributions of Indian Americans and have a greater appreciation of the role they have played in helping to advance and enrich American society. The Indian community has acquired immense wealth, but unfortunately that has also generated unwanted criminal attention. It isn't uncommon to see law enforcement putting in the extra effort to safeguard the affluent neighborhoods where lots of Indians reside.
There's somebody sitting outside watching you go to the bank. When you come out with an envelope full of money, they follow you to your house and they either rob you or they wait for you to leave it in the car and then they take it. Don't leave your money in the car. We had a guy leave $15,000 in his car one time in the sun visor after leaving the bank. Leave nothing in your car. It's a constant thing. We go to these vehicle burglaries and people have left their Louis Vuitton bag sitting on the front seat.
According to a 2014 study, 15% of startups in Silicon Valley were founded by Indians, even though Indians made up just 6% of the valley's working population. And what is even more astonishing is that Indians alone founded more startups than the next four communities combined, who were from China, Japan, Britain and Taiwan. According to a report by the American National Association of Realtors in 2018, India was one of the top 5 countries of origin for home buyers in the US. This makes Indians one of the top contributors of America's real estate sector. In Atlanta, Shiv Agrawal has been playing an active role in serving his adopted land for over 30 years. In addition to forming his own real estate business and founding the first and only indoor South Asian mall in North America, the Indian community has been brought together in Louisiana, Georgia, Baton Rouge and Atlanta by a foundation that he has created. He also heads a vast amount of both cultural and non-profit organizations.
Now I am a citizen of United States. Being a citizen of United States, I feel my duty is also over here. Like we call it Bharat Mata. And the same is like a United States is our brother. We have to take care of our brother too. And therefore I am involved in the local community over here. I am board member of the local Chamber of Commerce, and also I'm involved with the Community Improvement District, where we improve the local areas of about 3-mile radius. It's almost like a small city. I've been the chairman for, they call it Gateway Community District. They call it Gateway CID. And being a chairman, we try to improve the business, infrastructure, landscaping, cleanliness, and whatever is required for this particular area.
TCS, India's tech services giant, creates a large number of jobs in the USA. The company says that it has invested billions on employment, STEM education programs, innovation labs, and several other academic partnerships and programs. In addition to supporting the STEM education programs, TCS does recruitment across more than 75 college campuses in the US. Over 100,000 jobs are created for Americans by Indian IT firms, and more than 55,000 Americans in the US are employed by just the top 4 Indian IT firms. Not only that, in the United States, Indian IT firms pay their staff better than what local companies pay.
Let me tell you, the Indian community, the diaspora which is there, has grown pretty much. Immigration started in 1965, and since then the first batches which came as students, they started India Culture Center just to keep their culture alive because they were so far away from home. That being said, eventually the next generation of batch came up where the engineers and the doctors came in. And eventually in the 2000s was the IT boom.
It is well documented that Indian scientists and engineers fill the American skill deficit and contribute to the American economy. Very interestingly, among 29 million scientists and engineers in the USA, almost 1 million are Indian. This is more than any other country in the world, even more than the entirety of Europe. The top patent fillers in America include Indian companies such as TCS, RIL, and Wipro. Over 4,600 patents were filed in the US between 2015 and 2018 by India-domiciled companies. Despite their immense contribution to wealth generation and philanthropy, and despite being the most educated religious group, Hindus in the United States have been at the receiving end of various forms of discrimination and racism. In 2016, HAF's report highlighted the unsettling experiences that many Hindu students in America face on a frequent basis. That year, 1 out of every 3 students had reported that they were bullied for their religious beliefs. 1 in 8 students reported that their teachers made sarcastic remarks about Hinduism in front of a class. Half of the students surveyed felt socially alienated due to their religion. Though the survey was limited due to its sample size of about 350, it did manage to reveal the scale of religious bullying that many Hindu students in America are subjected to, and was suggestive enough to raise serious questions for more in-depth testing. It was uncovered in 2018 that Harvard illegally discriminates against applicants that are Asian American. In a court filing, the United States Department of Justice said that Harvard's racially aware admissions policies that they had in place represented unlawful racial discrimination against Asian Americans that apply to the school. Department officials wrote a statement that the record evidence demonstrates that Harvard's race-based admissions process significantly disadvantages Asian American applicants compared to applicants of other racial groups, including both white applicants and applicants from other racial minority groups. So how should Indians tackle hatred and misinformation in a foreign land? Well, spreading knowledge through academia can definitely go a long way. An effort in that direction can be seen in the Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley, which is the most comprehensive center for the graduate study of religion in North America. Its Center for Dharma Studies represents the leading edge in interdisciplinary and interfaith academic programs of the Hindu world.
Sadhana means praxis. It's praxis. So the Bhagavad Gita has theology in it, it has philosophy in it.
So the Center for Dharma Study was recently established a couple of years back. And what the center does is that it disseminates the knowledge of Hindu theology. And there are certain programs that we have that the center conducts. We have, for example, one can get a PhD in yoga study. We have certificate programs. There are several other programs that we have that students can enroll and study Hindu theology. Not just in terms of practices like rituals, but, study the inside of the tradition deeply. We have several religious activities. There are some ecological activities, studies, certificate programs.
So we're involved in the interreligious, inter-theological, as well as the interdenominational, if you like, dialogues with a whole range of people.
Why do you think it is so important for Americans to correctly understand India and its heritage?
Because India is one of the world's major civilizations and has been for over 4,000 years. It has, therefore, like other massive civilizations, a vast trove of knowledge systems, and means of treating the problems we face as humans that are distinct and different from those of the West.
In the center, under the guidance of experts, students from diverse backgrounds pursue their passion.
Passion and interest in studying Hinduism and hoping to learn what can Hinduism teach us about our own texts and our own understandings. I am joining this program now to pursue a project of comparative theology to learn the Mahadevi, the text of the Mahadevi, and what can this teach us about how we as Muslims relate to the Quran and relate to God in a more open and vast way.
Unlike those ideological systems which believe in global conquest by systematically converting the non-believers, many Hindu temples in America are spreading love and knowledge while playing their part in removing misconceptions about Hinduism. Though they are mostly visited by the Hindus living in America, it's not completely uncommon to spot curious local non-Hindus admiring the architectural beauty of the temple monuments or learning the Hindu concept of universal familyhood. A good example of this can be seen in the Swaminarayan Temple of New Jersey.
It's breathtakingly beautiful, just absolutely amazing. The detail and having the opportunity to watch the video about where the marble was mined, how it got to India, how it was finished. And then I grew up, like I said, about 15 minutes from here, and I'm just so incredibly grateful to have this type of cultural diversity and such a beautiful monument in our city.
I decided to get engaged, and when I spoke to now my wife about venues in terms of where we were going to have that engagement party, it was a no-brainer for me to have it at this mandir. What better way than to bring 700 of my friends and family to my temple that means so much to me. And it wasn't just my Indian friends, it was a lot of my American friends that had come. To them, it was an eye-opening experience. I didn't really have to say much. There wasn't a lot of time for me to go and speak to them. But when they walked in, all I saw on their faces was, oh my God, they just looked up, and that was it.
So a lot of people ask me as they visit the mandir that do they have to be Hindus to come to the mandir? And I often tell them people of all faiths are welcome. The mandir is here to inspire us with a change of heart and not change of faith.
So seva being service, not necessarily volunteer work, but just service to our own community, service to the larger community, and that idea that seva is not just a moral opportunity, but it's almost like a religious duty.
Despite being far away from the land of their origin, I have also noticed that many Indian Americans are also very keen to preserve their traditions and heritage. In Florida, I met Geeta, a Bharatanatyam teacher, who gave me an explanation regarding the involvement of various body parts in the ancient Indian dance.
In Florida, at least I think in Florida for sure, there are no 3 generations who are dancers. So I've been dancing. My daughter has been accompanying me. Now I have my grandson. He's been with me also. Bharatanatyam also is yoga and movement. The breathing exercises are taught. The warm-up exercises are taught. Right from the fingertips all the way to palm. In order to show a snake, it is the fingertip, the palm, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder. So the movement of a snake is like this. So every part of the body is influenced.
The Western world is at last trying to become more environmentally conscious, which has also brought about lifestyle trends that are characterized by more sustainable behaviors. However, there have been many occasions where vegetarian Hindus who relocate to America have left behind their sustainable lifestyles because of societal pressures or to better assimilate with the people in their new nation. I met Sushma in Houston, who has been educating people about how important sustainable lifestyles are and which plant-based diets play a prominent part in this process. She spreads this knowledge by conducting different camps through which people expand their knowledge about these topics.
Importance of being vegetarian, that it is not that hard, and I have seen kids going home and turning vegetarian also after the camp. That parents have came and told me that kids do not want to eat non-veg anymore because they think there are so many options.
Socioeconomically, Indian Americans lead every other ethnic group in the US. Hindus are the most educated religious community in the USA. 71% of all Indians have a bachelor's degree or higher, and in comparison, the national average is 28%, while 44% is the average of all Asian American groups. As many as 40% of all Indians in the United States have a doctorate, master's degree, or other professional degree, which is again 5 times the national average. Indians have created investments and jobs in America and brought with them their vast knowledge, innovations, spiritual wealth, and unique heritage. Their focus has remained steady, even when sometimes having to overcome difficult conditions. See you again.